Okay, so picture this. It's 1973. You're walking down a busy New York City street, and you see someone using a phone. But here's the thing. It's the size of a brick. Like, seriously, a brick. And it's attached to this giant bag.
Yeah.
Well, that was the scene when Martin Cooper, an engineer, made the very first public mobile phone call.
Wow.
So, get this, our deep dive today. It's the whole evolution of those brick phones, right, into the sleek, pocket-sized computers we have today.
Right.
You might think you know everything about mobile phones.
Yeah.
But trust me, we've dug up some seriously surprising stuff for you.
Hey, Ben.
You're probably thinking, oh yeah, I know all about that. But hang on,
Yeah.
because there's a lot more to the story than you might think.
I'm sure.
For example, Cooper's phone, which was called the Motorola Dynatec 8000X,
Mhm.
it wasn't just comically large,
Right.
it actually marked a major turning point, like a fundamental change in how we communicate.
Right. It was,
It was the moment we became truly mobile.
yeah, for the first time, you could be reached pretty much anywhere as long as there was cellular coverage.
Think about it. That first call wasn't even to, like, celebrate their success.
It's true.
It was actually to arrival at Bell Labs.
Yep.
Can you imagine the audacity?
Oh, totally. It was Cooper basically saying, hey, we beat you to it.
It just shows the competitive spirit of those early days of mobile phone technology.
Yeah. And that one call kind of sums it up.
Absolutely. And it's mind-blowing to think that this massive device, which would cost something like $10,000 today, was the starting point for what we have now.
I know, right? It's crazy how far we've come.
So the journey from those big, clunky analog phones to today's smartphones, it wasn't exactly a straight line.
It was a whole series of technological jumps and breakthroughs.
And we're going to unpack all of those for you today.
Definitely. It wasn't as simple as someone just deciding, hey, let's just shrink this brick phone and add some features.
Exactly. There was a whole evolution there. And speaking of evolution, can you walk us through those big generational shifts from 1G to 5G and what made each of them such a big deal?
Absolutely. It's easy to kind of forget how revolutionary each generation was. 1G, it was all about making that initial connection, those first often crackly analog calls.
And then we had...
Then came 2G, and that brought in digital signals,
Oh, yes.
which basically paved the way for texting.
Which changed everything.
Changed everything.
I remember when you sent your very first text message, it was like futuristic.
I know, right?
But then 3G came along and totally changed the game again. All of a sudden, we could access the internet on our phones.
Yeah, that was wild.
It's amazing how quickly we went from those basic calls and texts to browsing the web on these small devices.
It was a huge shift. 3G laid the groundwork for the whole app revolution that followed.
It did. And speaking of revolutions, 4G brought us the speed we needed to make video calling and streaming the norm.
Exactly.
Which is, I mean, where we are today, basically.
Yeah.
And now we've got 5G. And it's funny because for a while, all I heard was 5G is faster. But you've been hinting that it's about a lot more than just how quickly you can download something.
It is. 5G isn't just an upgrade. It's a totally different kind of infrastructure.
Interesting.
See, previous generations, they focused on connecting people.
Right.
But 5G is all about connecting everything.
Oh, wow.
It's the Internet of Things, or IoT, where everyday devices can communicate with each other.
Wow.
It's this seamless network of information and possibilities.
That's amazing.
It really is.
Okay, so you've officially blown my mind with this whole Internet of Things thing.
It's pretty amazing stuff.
I mean, I can barely keep up with my notifications as it is.
I hear you.
But seriously, what does a world with all these interconnected devices actually mean for, like, someone like me, someone who's always trying to learn new things?
Well, think about it this way. Your phone basically becomes this central hub for all your learning resources.
Right.
Imagine having access to online courses,
Yeah.
and ebooks, research articles, even like virtual labs,
Oh, wow.
all seamlessly synced and accessible across all your devices.
That would be a game changer, especially when I'm trying to juggle different projects
Absolutely.
and fit learning into, like, my busy schedule.
Exactly. It would be amazing.
And it's not just about accessing information.
Right?
Think about collaborative learning environments, right?
Okay.
Where you can connect with other learners in real time.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't even matter where you are.
That's cool.
Yeah, picture virtual study groups.
Okay.
You've got interactive whiteboards, shared documents,
Wow.
all facilitated through your mobile device.
That's incredible.
It really is.
It's like taking the best parts of in-person learning, right? And combining them with the convenience of online access.
Exactly.
It's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's shift gears a little bit.
Sure.
We've talked about all the amazing possibilities of these mobile phones,
Yeah.
but I think it's really important to acknowledge the potential downsides too.
Definitely.
I know I've definitely struggled with, distractions
Oh, yeah.
and that feeling of being completely overwhelmed
It happens to everybody.
by the constant flow of information,
It's a lot to handle.
There's just so much.
It is. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
We have access to more information than ever before, but it's so easy to get lost in the noise
right.
and just completely overwhelmed by it all.
Exactly. And what about things like privacy and data security?
Yeah, those are huge issues.
I mean, with our phones collecting so much information about us,
Yeah,
it can be a little unnerving
I know what you mean.
to think about who has access to that data and how it might be used.
Those are totally valid concerns. I mean, as our devices become more and more integrated into our lives,
Right.
it's super crucial to be mindful of those things.
Totally.
Data privacy,
Right.
security.
It's important. It's really important. It's important to understand the permissions that we give apps and to really be aware of the data they collect.
Yeah. It seems like a constant balancing act, doesn't it?
It is.
Between embracing all the amazing things these devices can do and, staying informed and protecting our privacy.
Exactly. It really is all about finding that balance.
Right.
But, knowledge is power.
True.
The more we understand about how these things actually work and the potential risks involved, the better equipped we are to make good choices.
I agree. I totally agree with that.
Right. So it's about being informed and staying proactive.
Okay, so before we go too far down that rabbit hole, I want to loop back to something we talked about a little bit earlier.
Sure.
Making money with your phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is especially interesting to me
Okay.
as someone who, loves learning new skills and exploring different ways to earn an income.
Absolutely. And it's a really exciting time to be doing that.
It is.
I mean, the gig economy has just exploded.
It has.
And mobile phones have become essential tools for freelancers,
Yeah,
creators,
for sure.
online businesses.
I have a friend actually who quit her corporate job to become a freelance writer,
Wow.
and she does all her work from her phone.
That's amazing.
Like everything. Writing, editing, even managing her clients.
That's so cool.
It's really inspiring to see how mobile technology has empowered people to create their own opportunities.
It really has. And it's not just about freelancing either.
Right.
We're seeing this huge rise in content creation
Yeah.
and online learning platforms that anyone can access as long as they have a smartphone.
It's amazing.
You can create and sell online courses,
Right.
share your expertise through ebooks or webinars, or even build a following on social media platforms like YouTube or TikTok.
It's crazy.
It's really amazing. The possibilities are endless.
It really does feel like anyone can become a teacher or an entrepreneur these days.
Yeah, and that's the amazing thing about it.
So cool.
Mobile technology has really democratized access to information,
Right.
resources,
An opportunity.
opportunities.
It's both exciting and a little bit overwhelming, to be honest.
I can imagine.
There are so many options out there, it's hard to know where to even begin.
I know what you mean.
It's a lot.
It is. But that's where, that sense of curiosity comes in.
Right.
And the willingness to experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to explore different platforms. Try new things.
Yeah,
You never know what might spark your passion
that's true.
or lead you to your next big opportunity.
It could be anything. That's great advice. It's a good reminder that these devices are, at the end of the day, tools.
They are.
And like any tool, their potential really depends on how we choose to use them.
Exactly.
But looking ahead, where do you see mobile technology going?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is. What are some of the trends and innovations that are kind of shaping the future of this whole industry?
Well, we've talked about 5G and the Internet of Things,
Mm-hmm.
but honestly, those are just the beginning.
Oh, wow.
We're on the verge of even more transformative advancements.
Okay.
Stuff that was once like pure science fiction.
Like what?
Have you heard of 6G?
6G, is that even a thing yet?
It's still early stages.
Okay.
But
I'm still trying to wrap my head around 5G.
I know, right? But 6G, it promises to be another huge leap forward.
Okay.
I mean, imagine download speeds that are 100 times faster than 5G.
Okay, now you're just showing off.
It's true.
Seriously, though, what would we even do with that kind of speed?
It's not just about speed.
Okay.
It's about Creating a world where the digital and physical realms are basically like seamlessly integrated.
Okay, now you're messing with me. Give me a real-world example. What does that even look like?
Okay, so imagine a world where your mobile phone acts as a universal translator,
Oh, wow.
seamlessly converting languages in real time during conversations.
Okay.
Think about what that would mean for travel,
Yeah.
business,
Right.
even diplomacy.
Wow. That would be incredible.
It would be a game changer.
Those awkward attempts at ordering food in a foreign country,
Gone.
a thing of the past.
Exactly. What else?
Okay, what else?
Okay, think about holographic communication.
Yeah.
Imagine attending a virtual conference,
All
right?
right.
But you can interact with life-size three-dimensional projections of other attendees.
Oh, wow.
It's like you're actually in the same room.
Okay, now that's next level.
It is. The possibilities are endless.
It really is. But, what about the ethical implications of all this? I mean, it's super exciting, but also a little bit terrifying to think about, right?
It is. It's both.
For example, what about digital equity? As technology advances, we need to make sure that everyone has equal access to these opportunities.
100%.
It doesn't matter their socioeconomic status or where they live.
You're absolutely right. Technological advancements should benefit all of humanity,
Exactly.
not just a select few. Bridging that digital divide is going to be absolutely crucial to ensure that everyone can participate in this rapidly evolving world.
I agree. So it sounds like the future of mobile phones is about more than just the devices themselves, right?
Right.
It's about how they'll shape how we live, how we work,
Yes,
how we learn,
for sure.
and how we interact with everything around us.
It's about the bigger picture.
It's the whole world, yeah.
Exactly. And it's happening faster than we realize.
It really is.
I mean, think about how much has changed in just the past 10 years.
It's crazy.
It is. And the possibilities, they truly are limitless.
Okay, I'm officially both excited and a little terrified.
It's understandable.
But hey, that's the beauty of these technological advancements, isn't it?
I think so.
They challenge us to adapt, evolve,
To change.
and maybe even redefine what it means to be human.
That's a really profound way to look at it.
It is.
It's a good reminder that technology is a tool.
Right?
And like any tool, its impact depends on how we choose to use it.
Exactly. So before we get too philosophical here,
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
With all these advancements happening so rapidly,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think is going to happen to the humble mobile phone
Yeah, that's a great question.
as we know it? Will it even exist in, say, 50 years?
Wow, 50 years.
Or will it have evolved into something completely different?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Predicting the future of technology is always a gamble. But if we look at current trends, it's safe to say that the mobile phone, as a standalone device, might actually become obsolete.
Obsolete? Wow, that's a pretty bold statement. What makes you think that's where we're headed?
Well, we're already seeing this convergence of different technologies. Our phones are becoming more like mini computers,
Right.
and we're using them for so much more than just making calls.
We are.
With the rise of wearable technology, augmented reality, even, implantable devices.
Oh.
It's conceivable that the functionality of a mobile phone could be integrated into other forms.
Implantable devices? Okay, now, that's a concept that's really pushing the boundaries of my imagination. Are we talking like straight up science fiction here?
Maybe not as far-fetched as it sounds.
Right.
We're already seeing some pretty amazing advancements in biocompatible technology.
Right.
I mean, imagine a future where you can make calls, access information, even control your smart home devices,
Okay.
just with your thoughts.
That's both fascinating and a little bit unnerving. The convenience factor is like off the charts.
Oh, totally.
But it does make you wonder about the implications for privacy and security.
Yeah.
I mean, if our thoughts are no longer private,
Right.
that opens up a whole new can of worms.
It does. It certainly does. And as technology keeps advancing, it's so important to have these open discussions about the ethical implications,
Right.
the potential risks.
Yeah.
We need to be proactive in addressing those challenges to make sure that technology is serving humanity.
Right. In a responsible and beneficial way.
Exactly.
So it seems like the future of mobile technology is kind of heading towards this like more integrated and immersive experience.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's one that needs us to like really think carefully about all the ethical aspects too.
It does. It does. It's a balance.
But for like the average person, how are all these advancements actually going to affect our everyday lives?
I mean, imagine a world where you don't have to carry around a separate device for communication or entertainment or information.
Right.
Imagine being able to just seamlessly move between the digital world and the physical world,
Okay, yeah.
accessing information and interacting with people and objects
Mm-hmm.
in a way that feels totally natural and intuitive.
Yeah.
The possibilities, they're mind-boggling.
It really is a pretty enticing vision of the future.
It is.
But, a part of me does feel a little bit nostalgic for the simplicity of those early mobile phones. Remember when all they did was make calls and send text messages?
I know, right?
There was a certain charm to that simplicity.
There was. There's definitely something to be said for, simplicity
Yeah.
and just focusing on one task at a time.
Right.
But these technological advancements, they're inevitable.
They are.
It's up to us to shape how they're developed and how they're used
Right.
to make sure that they benefit everyone.
To make sure they benefit humanity as a whole. I agree. So, after this deep dive, I think I'm left with more questions than answers.
That's how it usually goes.
But that's what makes this topic so fascinating, right? It really gets you thinking about the possibilities
Definitely.
and the potential pitfalls of how we interact with technology, which is always evolving.
It's a constantly evolving relationship.
It really is. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on something that I use literally every single day.
And that's what we aim for. That's what the deep dive is all about. Exploring these complex topics, challenging assumptions, and, just encouraging critical thinking.
Mm,
We want you to engage with the world in a more informed and thoughtful way.
absolutely. And to our listener, we'll leave you with this final thought. As we stand here right on the edge of this new era of mobile technology, what role do you want to play in shaping its future?
It's a good question.
It is. The choices that we're making today, they're going to have a huge impact on the world of tomorrow.
They really will. It's definitely something to think about, and we hope this deep dive has given you the insights you need to do just that.
For sure. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of mobile phones. Be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into all kinds of fascinating topics that are shaping our world. We'll be back soon with another thought-provoking exploration. Until then, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep asking those important questions.